So I've never heard of a truck not needing oil or coolant during the break-in period. And so, experience is the mother of all teachers, right? I mean, that's why companies hire experienced drivers. That's why banks are more willing to work with experienced drivers when it comes to lending, because there's an immense amount of knowledge that is gained with experience. And so I, again, have never heard of not ever adding oil or coolant. But apparently I'm not allowed to put air in my tires. I can't add coolant. I can't add oil. I'm allowed to grease my fifth wheel. I'm not allowed to change a light bulb. I'm not allowed to change a wiper blade. I am allowed to change a fuse. And when I do have to change a fuse, I just need to call it in and let them know what fuse. And, if I have any idea of what caused the fuse to blow, maybe bumps in the road, something jostled around, so I got a bad wiring harness, some way for them to track whatever. I do have extra fuses that I bought for the truck, because you're required to carry extra fuses, so I do have that, and they are there for my DOT inspections. But so this was a learning curve, because I've always had to do my own stuff, and to be told by maintenance, we're not paying you to maintain the truck, we're paying you to drive the truck. That's going to require some really hard work on my part to change my hands-on approach to the truck. I really like having my hands on the truck. I really like doing the things that I've always done, adjusting my brakes, because now I'm down there and I'm looking for cracked brake shoes, I'm looking for cracked brake drums, I'm looking for bad slack adjuster bushings, I'm looking for bad slack adjusters, I am looking for driveline rear end leaks, I'm looking for chafing on the airlines. But here with this company, I can't do any of that. So now I'm not going to really understand or know what's going on underneath the truck. So, but I'll still be responding. We're all still responsible for our trucks, no matter what they're doing. And you're basically, DOT feels like you should have X-ray vision. They don't care what the policy is. And you know what? They're right. DOT is absolutely right. You should absolutely know what's going on with your truck. If you can't get underneath your truck, then you have no idea what's going on. You don't know if it's really safe or not. So you did a walk around pre-trip. You didn't get underneath and look. How do you know if you've got any slack in the driveline? You got a yoke going bad. You got a universal going bad. I mean, how are you going to know if you're not underneath your truck pushing up and pulling back on that driveline? So I have a big learning curve. So anyway, I brought my truck to the dealer yesterday morning, and this is where my contention is going to come in, being a company driver. So the maintenance department wanted me to bring my tractor in to the dealer, have this case started so they could investigate where the oil went. I went through over a gallon of oil. I added the gallon because it was getting low, and we don't know where the oil went because it didn't leak out of the truck, and I added the oil and it still wasn't topped off. So maintenance wanted it inspected. We did that. I dropped it off yesterday morning thinking, hey, I'm here first thing in the morning, I'll be out by lunchtime, and I can still at least make one or two stops. Perfect. not even a guy in my company, the guy who holds the purse strings on maintenance for this truck, being a lease truck, he didn't bother getting around to the approval form for the dealership until after lunchtime. And by that time, because it's a Volvo uptime thing, it comes first come, first served, they don't accept your truck until the paperwork is signed. You're not checked in. So for 4 hours, because of this jackass, yes, he's a jackass for blowing us off, this jackass failed to authorize the work. A whole bunch of trucks came in after I did, and so my truck got put on the back burner. I said, well, I can come back tomorrow. And then the dealership was like, we'd really prefer that you left the truck here so the engine is nice and cool when we get to it. We prefer that you're not idling the truck, you're not in the truck, and that it's on site for when we can work on it. So I get a hotel room. I don't sleep real good in strange places, so it was nice to be able to have privacy and stretch out, let the dog stretch out. It was really nice. I ate a bunch of food that I probably shouldn't have ate, and I'm going to pay for it for the next couple of days, but that's okay. I knew what I was doing when I did it. But it's frustrating that I dropped my truck off yesterday morning with the hopes, and it could have been very likely. I mean, it was probably 20 minutes worth of work, maybe 2 hours at the most. I don't know. I've got the paperwork up here. I should have looked at it. I didn't review the paperwork because it's not my truck. I'm not responsible for the maintenance. The dealership said it all looked good. They needed to add oil. They needed to add coolant. They didn't find any evidence of leaks, and they had to update some of the software. So I didn't get my truck back today until lunchtime. From yesterday morning until lunchtime today. They finished, they said they weren't going to get to my truck until this morning, and they were actually finished with my truck yesterday afternoon, about supper time. I could have had my truck back yesterday, but because the guy who holds the purse strings on the maintenance, who doesn't even work for my company, failed to make payment for the truck couldn't be released. So I sat there all morning waiting for the truck to be released until this guy tendered payment to their accounts receivable or whatever, and then the truck was released. I lost a lot of time. Now, I get irritated when I'm sitting still. I want to drive. I want to see the country. I want to make content. I want to make videos. I want to see things and meet people. And, I'm a paid tourist. And that's the way I look at it. And then when you put the brakes on me and now I can't be a tourist, now I'm frustrated because I'm stuck in a hotel or I'm stuck in a truck stop parking lot or whatever the case might be. And that's not what I want to be doing. So I get really, really frustrated and I get really moody, and everybody's an asshole in my book for that. It's just the way it is. If your tires aren't turning, you're not earning. That's the way I look at it. But here at this company, it's a bit different. I'm getting paid. I got paid my hourly rate for 10 hours yesterday. And I got paid my hourly rate all morning to sit there until lunchtime. And now I'm clocked in and I'm running down the road. So for me, I have to try to get rid of that mindset that I gotta go. You're costing me money. I'm not earning any money as a self-employed driver. I'm not getting paid by the hour to sit here. A lot of companies won't pay you to sit there. They might give you, if you're there for 10 hours, they might give you $150 or $100 or whatever their breakdown rate is. But again, you're still losing money, and it's beyond your control. You had no way of anticipating what was going to happen. You didn't cause the damage to your truck. You didn't cause it to malfunction. Whatever the case is, yet you're paying the penalty for it. And I disagree with that. I think that's grossly unfair. Now, I think that if you were paid by the mile, the only fair thing the carrier should do is they're requiring you to go get repaired. then whatever, if it's, let's just say you're paid by the mile, so whatever mileage you should have gotten that day and that you would typically average, they should take the average mileage for your normal day and pay you for that, pay you for the mileage that you would have achieved. And if you require a hotel room, they should be paying your hotels, and they should be paying for your transportation. In my mind, if you're out here making all these sacrifices out here on the road, and you're away from home, you're away from your friends, you're away from your hobbies, whatever it is, you're making that sacrifice, you're over the road. The only thing I feel like you should have to pay for is your food. Cleaning supplies should be on the company because you're cleaning their truck. If they own the truck and you're keeping it up, they should be paying for those supplies, those materials. If, let's say you're stranded or you're broke down and you're at a place where you have no shower credits, say you're at Jim Bob's truck stop in northeast nowhere and you need a shower and you're broke down for 2 days or 3 days, and maybe you've got a suspension issue, you're out of service, you dropped the transmission, whatever, you're able to sleep in your truck waiting for parts in the parking lot, but you've got no way to take a shower. I feel like the company should spring for the shower, because again, it's not your fault. So for me, I stayed parked all day yesterday. The trailer I picked up had a hole in the roof. I drove from the Midwest to the South, opened my doors, broke the seal, opened my doors, and there's the hole in the middle of the roof. It looked like it was damaged by a forklift. So I had to get the trailer fixed. So that was a 14-hour deal, waiting at Petro Atlanta. I get checked in there. The lady tells me you're looking at about a 4-hour wait. I said, okay, not a problem. I anticipated that. I waited in the parking lot for 10 hours after, working. And then I finally fell asleep. And I got about 3 hours of sleep. And then I went back in and I said, okay, it's been 12, 13 hours at this point. I'm still not in here. And, I need to know what's going on. This is ridiculous. It doesn't take 14 hours to do a 20-minute repair job. I'm not understanding why I'm still stuck here. Then the manager comes over and he starts puffing his chest and fluffing his feathers like he's somebody to me, which he's a nobody to me. And he starts blowing back at me when I'm just asking questions. And he says, we told you were next. And I said, next doesn't mean anything to me. Next is relative to whatever you've got in the shop with whoever you've got working. I'm looking for an ETA. It's been 13 hours. I'm looking for an ETA at this point. I have a 7 o'clock appointment at Volvo. It's 6:30 now. This is causing me problems. It doesn't take that long to slap a piece of patch up there and then seal it shut. I'm not understanding. Well, sir, we told you were next. And I said, next doesn't mean anything. If you're changing a motor and you've got one mechanic, I won't get in here till Tuesday. I need to know if I need to find another shop. If you guys can't keep up with your workload, just say so, and I'll find somewhere else. And he looked at me and I said, I have no problem going somewhere else, doing the work anywhere else. You don't have to have my business. I don't have to stay here. I've already been here this long. I'm just trying to figure out if it's advantageous for me to go somewhere else or if I should just wait. He looks at me and goes, nose up to base 6. Really? Because when I checked in 2 hours before that by phone, she had said, we'll let you know when we're ready for you. You could have told me then to nose up to base 6. But no, that didn't happen. So there was a little bit of tension there. That guy's wanting to puff his chest at me and fluff his feathers, and I don't care who you are. I don't work for you. And ultimately, I'm the captain of my ship. Yeah, my company says, hey, going to be a tough one for me. So, anyway, I just want to share that little bit of tidbit information because I've got something new I've got to learn, and I've got to stop trying to be hands-on and trying to focus really hard on what this guy told me, the maintenance guy. Just drive the truck. That's what we're paying you to do. I've never made this much per hour. It's the most hourly rate I've ever. I'll tell you what I make. I was hired for the Northeast. I make $31 an hour, and nothing comes out of pocket. So I would say that's a pretty good rate. It's fair. I work 70 hours a week, 60 hours a week, 65 hours a week. So I know there's jobs out there that pay better, and I'll be honest, I'm always keeping my eyes open. But for me, it's not just about the money, it's about the way I'm being treated. And I've said this before. So the two women that are in my division, they're over me, they're in the office. Well, I look at my dispatcher as more, I don't really consider her a supervisor. She's more like my partner in crime. She works very hard to make sure I'm happy, and I work very hard to make sure she's happy. She is like, she would be the dream sister, or the ultimate bestie if you were, looking for a best friend. She would be that girl. And our boss, the lady over the two of us, is just a total sweetheart and will move heaven and earth to make sure that you get what you need when you need it, upon understanding why you need it. If it's a little bit out of the ordinary, she might have a few questions, but if you've already answered those questions up front, absolutely not a problem. Lincoln approval every time. So I really like the way I'm being treated. I don't get attitude from anybody in the office, at least not out of where I'm at. The headquarters office, I try not to have to deal with them. And there's no reason for me to deal with them. The safety guy, the head safety guy called yesterday, wanting to know about my dash cam situation for the truck. Well, I've got a GoPro up there and I've got a dash cam up there, but I do not have the company dash cam. So the way their dash cams are set up, their dash cams are set up to record audio and video front-facing camera. They disable the rear-facing camera until you violate the hands-free law, and then they'll turn on the rear-facing camera until you die or retire. Now, I'm okay. They can look at the inside of my truck, they can look outside of my truck. What I don't want them doing is listening to my phone calls. I don't want them hearing me sing while I drive down the road. I don't want them hearing me baby talk my dog. I don't want them hearing me snore. And, the guy was like, well, it only records the sounds when the camera is triggered. But I have no way of controlling or anticipating when that trigger is going to happen. And they're going to get a full 12 seconds of whatever happens. Whatever caused it to go off, they're going to get 12 seconds. 12 seconds is a lot of conversation. So, it's not that I really talk about anything on the phone that is, of questionable ethics. It's just that the people I talk to, they deserve their privacy too. So they're not just eavesdropping on me. They're eavesdropping with whoever's on the other side of the phone, because I'm hands-free on the phone. It uses the truck stereo speakers. And, when you call me on the phone, I'm talking to you via the truck stereo. That's why I don't have those goofy headsets on my ears anymore, which really hurt after a day. So I've got to figure that one out. I'd really like to find out where it gets its sound from, and then muffle it with duct tape or something, just cover it right up. I will be covering the lens on the rear-facing driver camera, but I don't want the sound. Like what I talk about, or my singing, that's me. Leave me alone. I don't get violations driving complaints. I don't get citations. I don't get in accidents. There's absolutely nothing you're going to gain from eavesdropping on my conversations. That's the way I feel about it. You look at my driving history. The only accidents I've been on is where I've been a victim of road rage, and the police reports clearly state that they're unavoidable, they're unpreventable. The only way I could have prevented those accidents was, and not even have them in my abstract, is to have not been driving the truck, or not even been in the truck, just let the truck stop and walk away. Then it would be a property damage thing, and anyway, so the whole dash cam situation, I've got issues not with what they're looking at, but with what they're listening to. And I don't know if any of you had feedback on that, but I'm pretty sure that the people I talk to on the phone would have a problem with their side of the conversation being monitored. And I shouldn't have to tell everybody that calls me that, hey, your phone call is potentially being recorded, because people don't have a life and they want to hear what you're talking about. That's the way I feel about it. The safety guy was like, no, we're not interested in what you're talking about. Then why do you have the audio recording turned on? Why? I don't care if you want to watch me and look at my ugly face while I'm driving down the road. If that floats your cookies, go right ahead. I don't do anything illegal. I don't do anything dangerous. I'm not out here to die. I don't want to lose my CDL. I'm not trying to be fired. But I don't feel like you have a right to hear my phone calls. So that's where I'm at right now. We'll see. We're going to see what happens. But yeah, I'm not a happy camper about it. But I promise you, the first time they think they're going to write me up for something that I didn't get in an accident for, or I didn't get a citation or a violation for, nothing that resulted in a driver complaint, they're going to, let's say they want to write me up because I hit the yellow line over here just like this, bam. And they want to do something like write me up for that. I'm not going to work under those conditions. I'll be gone. If you can't respect that I'm driving a tractor trailer while y'all are sitting at a desk, and I do shift my lane position quite frequently so that I can see what's going on behind me. You know, so I can see what vehicles are back there, because they get right on your bumper and then you lose them in the mirrors. Right? You can't see the vehicle anymore. They're too close. So the way I deal with that is I'll shift side to side. And that way I know what's going on back there. And I have a feeling that I'm going to be getting phone call after phone call after phone call. And it's going to get to the point, you know, because I do stuff like this right here where I'm shifting my lane. I feel like, based on orientation, I feel like I'm going to get these phone calls and I'm just going to get fed up and I'm going to leave. And that's going to suck, because I finally work for people that I really, really like to work with. And I'm treated fairly. And I don't feel like I've ever been treated fairly or with sincerity. There's always been that fake nice and that fake caring, but, you know, they'll fake nice to your face while they're stealing from your paycheck, or they're stealing from your per diem, or they're parking you so you don't get any hours or loads. Yeah, so I don't know. That's it. It's a lot to talk about, and I'm sure some of you out there have feedback. Some of you out there have had the experience of working for a larger company and can offer me some insight on that. I don't know, this whole dash cam thing is really, really concerning to me, because my conversations are mine. And if you're talking to me on the phone, I feel like have a right to respect. You have a right to privacy as much as I do. Nobody should be hearing your part of the conversation. So, I guess that's it for this video. I just wanted to share all of that. I am in Georgia. I'm headed to Dublin, and then I have another stop in Georgia, and then off to Florida I go. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to some feedback. I'd love to hear what anybody has to say about this driver cam thing, and I'd like to know if the camera is that sensitive where they can actually hear your phone calls, if they can hear you snoring in the sleeper. How's a driver cam protected any of you? There's a lot of things I don't know. I mean, I use a dash cam. I've got a Garmin right up there in the window. Spent $300 on it, and my GoPro I spent $500 on. So I guess that's it, guys. Thanks for watching.